YouTube, welcome to the video. Today I'm really excited to showcase you guys my new Infernoble Flame Swordsman deck, and this is a really cool deck that makes good use of the Flame Swordsman as an engine. Paired with Infernoble Knight cards, you get a pretty cool Fire Warrior themed deck, so let's go over the ratios and explain things real quick. Fighting Flame Swordsman is the most important card you can play because you get to search any other Flame Swordsman spell or trap card. The best one being Flame Swordsman because that sets up your plays really well and you get to go into Flame Swordsman. We also have the Salamander Fusion, which helps you go into the ultimate Flame Swordsman, or you can go for Salamander the Chain, which is a nice interruption during your opponent's turn as well, and it can be helpful. We also have the playset of the Fighting Flame Sword, which is your starter again, and we also play the one of Salamander, the Flying Flame Dragon, which allows you to get a search. It can also be used to equip it onto something and have a bonus effect activatable due to that. We also have in the extra deck the Flame Swordsman, of course, with the one Fighting Flame Dragon, which is your equip monster for the archetype, and then we have the Ultimate Flame Swordsman, which is one of the coolest boss monsters I've seen because it has a popping effect, which can also be a quick effect if you equip it with something, which is really easy to do with Infernoble Knight cards, and it can also double its attack and get OTK sometimes if you buff it up enough, and you can definitely get some games with that, which is also really fun. Now for the extra deck, we play one Renault, one Firefly and the one Ricardetto with the one Ogier, Oliver, Magias, Turpen, Red Lair, which is unnecessary by the way, you can switch it if you'd like, but I like it. The one Gearfried with the one Rota, of course, the playset of the Heritage of Chalice, the playset of the Noble Arm Museum, which are both searchers. For the equip spells, we have the Living Fossil, the Durandal, 2 copies, with the one copy of Joyous, which is not that good by the way, you can cut it if you'd like. It has some good uses, that's why I keep it, but DDR might be a better option slightly. We also have the one Almace with the one Angelica's Ring, and for the hand traps we don't have that many, we just play the triple Maxi, triple Ash and double Code Buy. We don't have space for anything more. You could include more hand traps and non-engine, but you're gonna lose some consistency, and I don't like that in this deck because you actually need to have 2-card combos the majority of times in order to combo off like crazy. 1-card combo is typically not gonna be enough for this deck. In the extra deck we have of course the Roland, the Angelica and the Charos with the double Emperor Charos, the one Baron which sometimes comes up, the double Izodi with the one Hita and the Promethean Princess, and then the one SP and the Palooza to wrap it up for the extra deck. And that's really it. Now let's get into the combo guide so I can show you what the Flame Swordsman does for this deck. Alright, so all we basically need is just a way to get access to the Fighting Flame Swordsman. So we're gonna activate of course the Searcher and we're gonna get it. And now I'm not gonna go over all of the Infernoble Knight combos because I have a separate video for that. I'm just gonna go over the Flame Swordsman stuff. If you want to learn more about Infernoble Knights, I'm gonna leave a link down in the description with the video. Now what you need to do is you need to normal summon the Fighting Flame Swordsman and you need to get a search here. Now you're gonna grab the Swords Realm because that's your way to set up your place. So now you're gonna activate the Swords Realm, and usually if you want to go for the 1-card combo with the Flame Swordsman, you're gonna send it to the graveyard, which can then allow you to summon the Flame Swordsman from the deck, which is really important. And then you're gonna be able to activate the Flame Swordsman, which of course is gonna give you access to the sending something to the grave. Now you can go for either one of those. I'm gonna go for this one because right now we need to get a search from it so you can actually fusion summon. However, if you have the Salamander Fusion, you can go for the other one as well. You can also use that to equip it onto something, but there's no point doing it right now. So now you're gonna activate the fusion, equip, and now you're gonna use the effect of it, of course, to fusion summon into the ultimate Flame Swordsman to the field, and that's gonna be your play. Oh my god, this animation, bro, this is the first time I'm seeing this animation. This looks glorious. Dude, I'm so hyped about this deck. Oh my god. Oh wow, we can actually activate the Salamandra next and we can equip it, enabling the quick effect, popping effect, and that's all you gotta do with this deck. Basically that's the Flame Swordsman line. From there you can improve it if you have a bunch of cards as well. There's also another thing you can do. Instead of going for Salamandra Fusion, you can go for Salamandra with Chain and get an additional interruption, but I like to go for the fusion because it's a really cool boss monster and a popping effect, so of course I'm gonna do it. Now if you already have the fusion in your hand, you can go and send to the graveyard the Fighting Flame Dragon from the extra deck, which can then allow you to equip it onto your Flame Swordsman, and it can gain an additional attack during the battle phase, which is helpful. However, in the 1-card combo, as you can see, we just can't afford to do that. But anyways, let's get into the live games and have some fun. Oh, Maxine the Draw Face. Hehehe, we have the Ash. Yeah, we love to start the video like this. This is the best way to start the video. Alright, let's normal summon the Fighting Flame Swordsman and activate the effect to get a nice little search here. That's an effect viewer. Sure. We at least have one more extender in the hand in the face of Parfum Lady. And now we're gonna go for Izode using these two, which is absolutely beautiful. Boom, summon Izode. Now we're gonna activate the effect here, and then we're gonna change the effect of the Fighting Flame Swordsman to send to the graveyard the Salamandra so we can at least get a search for something. So the cool thing is we can send Salamandra and we can get the search for a trap card, which is still an interruption. And now let's get the second copy of Fighting Flame Swordsman as a nice follow-up for future turn. So now let's activate also Salamandra and get the Salamandra with Chain. We're gonna be using the Izode here and we're gonna go for 4. But what do we send is the question. Now we're in a little bit of a pickle here because we want to send the Almace, but also we like to keep it. We could send the Salamandra Fusion, but we kind of have to keep it in the deck. Let's go with these 4, I guess. Now let's pass some of the Ogier. Ogier is gonna activate the effect and we're gonna go for Turpen to the graveyard, of course. Or we can do something else now that I think about it. Let's go with Ricardetto, although that's really weird because we can bring it back and actually use it to synchro summon. Now, of course, that isn't the standard line. I'm just doing it right now like this because I can and because we need to get access to the Angelica, and we're gonna be activating the effect of it, of course, to then get access to the museum. We're gonna get a search, of course, for the Durandal, which we haven't used. Before that, let's activate the effect of the Salamandra. We're gonna attempt to equip it onto the Angelica, so we can, of course, change the Angelica and summon the Roland. We can also go for Turpin in the graveyard or the Magias, but I'm gonna go for Gearfried because we can get access to it later. So let's summon the Roland right here. Now, we are gonna be activating the effect of Durandal, and we're gonna get a search, of course. Turpin is preferably better in the grave, but in the hand it still works fine. Now we're gonna be activating the effect of Ogier, equipping it onto the Isolde. So from here, we can also activate Turpin to special summon it from the hand, and that now will give us a level 9 play into the Charos, which is what we need so we can continue our plays even further. So now we're gonna be activating the effect of, let's see, we have Turpin in the grave. So we're gonna activate the effect of Turpin in the grave to equip it onto the Charos. Boom, that's great. From there, we're gonna go for the numero uno Emperor Charos, and we're gonna be activating the effect here to get the Charos equipped to it, so we can go for the second one. That's just really the standard line. We're not gonna use that, of course. Let's activate Museum. Let's go for this special summon here. So far, so good. So here is where things will change slightly. We're gonna go for, first of all, Promethean Princess, because we can get access to it on top of everything else that we have. And now we're gonna use the effect of Promethean Princess, bringing back the Charos, of course, to the field again. And now we're gonna be activating the Roland here to equip it onto the Charos, which of course will let me also activate Charos' effect. And I'm gonna be using it to get rid of the Promethean Princess so we can set it up in the graveyard. And now we're gonna be using it to go for the second Emperor Charos. Typically, we can go for a slightly better board than just that, but I mean, at the end of the day, it's still like a good board, right? And now we're gonna be setting the Salamandra with Chain. We secured a nice follow-up with the Fighting Flame Swordsman. We also have the Salamandra and we have the double Charos, so we're gonna activate this Charos. Oh, I messed up. I shouldn't have activated this Charos. What am I doing? Oh no, I activated the wrong Charos. Oh, we could have had the Angelica's Ring. Dude, I haven't played with this deck for so long. I forget about those things. Let's just negate that, of course. I mean, we just have to negate it. And we're gonna be sending to the graveyard, I guess, Almace, because it's a good card to send to the grave, and that will negate. Now activating the Sanguine Summoning, which we can also negate, by the way. Maybe we can also like use the Rowan to equip and then we can stop it as well. Yeah, let's actually use the equip effect and then we're gonna stop it. Okay, equip. Now this resolves and now we're gonna be able to activate the Emperor Charles the Great to pop. He has something. I don't know what it is, but regardless, we're gonna just destroy the Sanguine Summoning. Now activating the Sanguine Kaiman, and we have the Ash Blossom together with one more negate with the Salaman Greater with Chain, and we also missed the Angelica's Ring, which would have been even better. Dude, oh my god, I love this deck. Alright, that's looking incredible. Let's start with the Flame Swordsman normal summon here so we can see what he'll do. If that gets negated, I can live with that, by the way, since we have the Fighting Flame Sword anyways. Alright, that's gonna get negated. Sure, we can play through one interruption for sure, that's fine. Let's change the Fighting Flame Sword to get a search. By the way, we can actually activate the third effect, and we should have done that. When your opponent activates card of the effect that targets Flame Swordsman, you can negate it, so that now we are not gonna get Ash Blossom. But in that case in particular, it's actually not bad because Museum is really important to resolve as well, and now we at least get access to the Museum play, which all in all, it's not too bad, alright? So even though you can technically negate that and prevent Ash Blossom, you can't really prevent it that well because you're gonna have to go for Salamandra in the grave at some point, which means he's still gonna use it on the Salamandra. So this way, we at least get to go for the Museum freely and combo off. So we're gonna get to the Durandal. Durandal now effect, of course, gonna activate. We're gonna get a search for any extender, basically. So we have a bunch of options, of course. Renowned being a really interesting one because we typically don't get access to it that easily, and I think that might be a good idea. So yeah, let's just grab it because we can also get back an equip spell, which is not that bad. We're not gonna be able to get Renowned again, so might as well do it now. Now we're gonna use two of our monsters. Now we could go, by the way, into Angelica, and this is what you should do if you don't have access to Isolde, but Isolde is ultimately gonna be better. So let's just do the Isolde line. Angelica's line mainly works in TCG since you don't have access to Isolde, right? So now we're gonna get the Isolde effect. We're also gonna activate Flame Swordsman so we can send something to the graveyard. We don't really need that effect though because there's nothing really good to do with it. Let's get access to another copy of Fighting Flame Swordsman, which is such a good follow-up for the turn. And now we're gonna activate activate the Salamandra here, which is gonna give us a search for the fusion, which we cannot use right now, but will be useful later. Okay, we're gonna send everything to the graveyard since we don't really need it anyways. Now we have options. We can go for Ogier to set up more plays. We can go Magius to go +1, but I think we should go for Oliver because we need the tuner, and the Renault is not gonna be a tuner if we bring it back to the field. So Oliver remains as the best option for now. So we can activate the Living Fossil and bring back the Renault and go for Angelica. So yeah, it's a little weird of a route, but it is what it is. It's the only thing I can do. And we're gonna grab another copy of Museum, which is not bad, you know. Activate this, get a search. So we're gonna be grabbing the other copy of Museum. Well, I guess we're gonna go for Salamandra, equip it onto the Angelica so we can go into Rowan. Now we have two options, whether we go for Magius to return to the deck 3 cards and draw 1 and also have the Almaze searchable with the second copy of Museum, or Turpen, which is probably gonna be the worst option. So we're gonna go Magius. Turpen is gonna be an additional extender, right? So now we're gonna summon to the field our Rowan, and now we're gonna be using the effect of our Magius, returning a couple of equip spells. We're gonna get back the Durandal. Maybe the Renault is actually not back to return, and also the most important one, which is the Almaze. And now we can go +1, which is actually a beautiful +1. And now let's go with the Magius. Actually, do we go for Magius? Do we go for Oliver? We gotta go Magius, yeah, because this is a tuner. We're gonna equip onto the Rowan so that we can activate the Museum and special summon it to the field to get access to the level 9. Okay, now we're gonna be activating second copy of Museum to get a search. This is super cool. That's why I like playing more than one Museum. It's just so useful for us. We're gonna grab the Almaze, so we're gonna equip it onto our Charles here, which will allow us to go for the Emperor Charles, as well as activate the Almaze effect because we haven't used any of its effects. Bro, I have 120 seconds. Let's hurry up a little bit. Return the Oliver. We're gonna go for the maximized line of play. Get back the Charles here. Let's go Museum again, and we're gonna be special summoning the Charles to the field so we can go with some plays with it. That's gonna be so fun, by the way. Now we can go into the second copy of Emperor Charles the Great, but what I wanna do is actually something else. Let's activate Oliver. We're gonna have to discard a card, and that will be the Durandal because we don't need it. That will give us an additional body here, and now we can go into Baronne de Flor, and that is what we're gonna do, baby, because it's so good. I'm gonna equip the Oliver onto the Emperor Charles so we can then get access to the Angelica's Ring as well and just get a bunch of protections. Let's set the Salamander the chain for the extra interruption, and we have in the graveyard Rowan ready to use. In the extra deck we can't really go for anything else. Salamander fusion is also not needed, so let's just pass turn. In the A phase, activate the Angelica to return it first of all, and then we're gonna go with the Emperor Charles the Great, equipping from our graveyard the Angelica's Ring as another form of interruption, and from the deck something good. Now what do we go for? Ogier, so he cannot be destroyed by a lightning storm, stuff like that, and that's it. That's all we gotta do, man. We can go for Max in the draw phase and make our opponent completely shit his pants. Dude, we have more interruptions than his cards. We have Baron Omni negate, we have the negate with Charos, we have popping effect with Charos, we have Angelica's Rings negate, we have the Book of Moon effect with Chain. Okay, so he doesn't plan on doing anything much. Well, let's just go with the Rowan. We're gonna equip it onto, I guess, his old, because we're gonna link it off later as well, probably. We're gonna now activate the effect of the Emperor Charles to pop one of the back rows, which is normal, and we're gonna get rid of the Centurion Bonds. I don't think he can really do anything, even if he has like the craziest Centurion hand, so that is what I'm talking about, bro. This deck is absolutely glorious as a 40 card build. It is so consistent. The Flame Swordsman, we haven't even summoned it, and we got so much more. We played through 2 interruptions and built this field. Without the interruptions, we would have been able to go for the Flame Swordsman popping effect as well, so that's really just insane. That's why I love this deck, guys. Try it out if you like it. I personally am a big fan of this deck, man.